Welcome back to Wealthy Lifestyle Radio with your host, author, and financial coach, Deborah Owens.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wealthy Lifestyles. I'm your host, Deborah Owens. The Baltimore, Washington area is home to some of the nation's largest government contractors. Each year, the government spends over $500 billion purchasing goods and services. By law, the companies that receive the contracts are required to have some minority participation. But it's not the federal government. It's not just the federal government that has these requirements. Similar laws are in place at the state, county, and local level. However, in order to qualify for those very lucrative opportunities, you have to get in the game. And that's where we begin tonight.
I see my name in shining.
Yes, we're talking about growing that billion-dollar business tonight, and Gloria Larkin is the author of The Basic Guide to Government Contracting, How to Build a Successful Business Selling Your Services and Products to the U.S. federal government. Gloria, thank you so much for coming on Wealthy Lifestyle this evening.
Deborah, it's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.
So you wrote this book, The Basic Guide to Government Contracting, How to Build a Successful Business Selling Your Services and Products to the U.S. federal government. And, you know, when I saw, is that $500 billion, 500 with a B? That's a lot of money.
The U.S. federal government is the world's Fortune 1 customer. They spend more money than any other single entity in the entire world.
So I want to start just right from the start. My question to you is, so why is it important to be certified? So many people, like myself for many years, said, oh, why even go through all the hassle? Why is this important?
Well, certification is a very specific process that you would go through in order to be able to participate in set-aside programs. These set-aside contracts are limiting competition to businesses who meet certain criteria. For instance, all small businesses could participate in set-aside contracts. But within that type of or size of business, such as small, there are different types of small businesses, those owned by women, those owned by minorities, those owned by service-disabled veterans, or located in a hub zone. All of those different types of business ownership qualify for certain certifications. And then, once you qualify for those certifications, you compete with businesses like yourself. These aren't handouts. You still have to go through competition. But you're not competing with the Lockheed Martins and the Northrop Grummans, those mega billion-dollar companies. You're competing with companies who look like you.
Exactly. And I think for so many business owners, that paperwork is what, can be daunting, if you will. And, you hear about the different certifications and all the different requirements. And so, Gloria, this evening, you wrote a book that, starts with very sound information. It's almost a business primer for doing business with the government. For anyone who's listening to this program tonight and wants to get involved, what do they need to do first to begin to get their information in order so that they can go through this process?
The first thing, Deborah, would be to have a bona fide business. So if you think you want to start a business, frankly, government contracting might be not the best place or best match to start to think about business. You want to already have a business established and have some customers. whether that means you are already selling services or products to other businesses or you're selling them to consumers. The government likes to know that you've already started a legitimate business and that now you're coming to them because you've done your homework and you know that they're buying what you're providing, whether that is products or services. And then they'll help open up the doors for you to start selling to them.
Well, that's interesting. I'm glad you said that. So basically what you're saying, if you're a startup, this may not be the place to start. You really want to come to the table with a history and a track record, and that will provide the government with some type of confidence in terms of your having competence in your area.
Generally, that's exactly the case. But, in this world, there's always exceptions to the rules. And with a quick story, we helped a company go from 0 to $7 million in sales in less than 9 months, and they were a startup. So they had the advantage of being involved in the government contracting world, but as employees. So then they got their knowledge base solidified and they understood the government contracting market, and then they started their own business. So I don't want you to think that no startups ever succeed. They can, but you really have to understand the market in order to tackle it successfully in a quick turnaround. Otherwise, it's going to take you a little while.
That's interesting. But I think you would say that that's an exception to the rules, because one of the things that you talk about in the book is the importance of knowing the people who are in that procurement process and having and forming some types of relationships. And what that would really require is for you to have some knowledge of who the players are.
Yes, that's exactly the case. As large as this market is and as lucrative as it can be, people are usually shocked when they hear that bottom line, this is a relationship market. It depends who you know and who knows you.
That's great information. And that I love the way you're explaining this. You're explaining the government as a market as any other market. It's just that this happens to be in the government space, and so you should look at the government like you should any other market, and that is the fact that people do business with people they know and trust.
Exactly. And the government buys virtually everything. So it's not limited to just certain types of services or products. If you can think of it and it's legal, the chances are the federal government's buying it.
Well, Gloria, I have heard throughout my years in business, I've seen some success stories, and I've seen some people who have gotten very frustrated in the process. Maybe they've been certified for, 2 or 3 years and they still haven't closed that deal. So what I'd like for us to talk about just for a few moments is, what are some of the common mistakes that people getting into this area make as it relates to landing that first contract?
That's an excellent question. And generally, one of the biggest mistakes is that newcomers to the market do not take the time to learn the differences in the government. This is a very different market than buying or selling to any other market. It's different than selling to other businesses. It's certainly different than selling to consumers, even though the government may be buying the same products or services. It has its own language. It has its own legal requirements, accounting requirements. And very often that level of frustration mounts because it seems like there's so many hurdles to jump or hoops to go through, when in fact it's really very clearly defined what the steps are that you need to perform in order to successfully enter the market. many people just try to make a shortcut, and then they get frustrated when that shortcut doesn't work.
Ah, okay. So going through the process, understanding the market. Well, we want to invite some callers. I'm sure there are people listening to this program who want to build into a $1 million, billion-dollar business and take advantage of some of the opportunities that government contracting provides. If you're just joining this conversation, I'm Deborah Owens, host of Wealthy Lifestyle Radio, and our conversation this evening is all about business. And right now, we're talking with Gloria Larkin. She is the author of The Basic Guide to Government Contracting, How to Build a Successful Business Selling Your Services and Products to the Government, the U.S. federal government. The number to call to join in the conversation is 410-319-8888. That's 410-319-8888. You can send us a question also on Facebook at A Purse of Your Own, or you can also send us a tweet at Wealthy Radio. And so we'd love to hear from you. 410-319-8888. That's 410-319-8888. And or you can, Twitter, you can send us a tweet at A Purse of Your Own as well. Again, the phone number to call, 410-319-8888. Perhaps you are someone who's been maybe thinking about getting into the whole federal contracting business, becoming a government contractor, and you don't know where to start. Well, now's your chance. 410-319-8888. That's 410-319-8888. There's also, I know I got some great questions when I posted this, Gloria, just around people who had been trying to get a contract, and for whatever reason, maybe they came up second or third in the RFP process, or maybe they got frustrated in the middle of it. I want to really encourage folks to call at 410-319-8888. So you talked about not understanding the culture. How long, realistically, so that people can have a good level of expectation, should you expect to spend on getting your first contract? And what is the process, Gloria? There's a request for you research, you respond to a request for a proposal, and then what?
Well, there can be other ways
Okay.
that are involved, too, that may even be shorter. And if it's okay with you, I'll start off with the quickest way.
Okay.
And you think of how the government buys. What exactly do they use to buy the product or service? And believe it or not, the government is a big user of Visa or MasterCard. And they can make purchases up to $3,000 per transaction by using credit cards. So if you were selling a product or a service and you could price it per product or service at under $3,000, there's a chance that you could sell directly to the end users, the people who are using your products or services directly, right through a credit card transactions.
Really?
Yes, a lot of people don't know that.
And so you don't even have to go through that process is that because they have authority on purchases under that limit?
Yes, they have authority, and the government has actually instituted something called a simplified acquisition procedure. They have to have big words describe what this means, credit card purchases, but they realize that it takes too much time and money to put out an RFP for a small ticket item. So anything under $3,000 can be purchased without multiple bids. The buyer just goes to whomever they want to purchase.
Wow. But, okay, so then the question becomes, give us an example of what that service could be, and how and who's carrying those cards where they can make those purchases. How would something like that happen?
Well, one of the easiest ways to understand it is office supplies. If you sell any type of office supplies at all, then you could sell that directly to the end user. If you also sold office furniture, anything that's used in an office, my goodness, just think of the hundreds of thousands of government employees who can purchase the products that they need, the pens, the phones, the desks, the chairs, anything that they use in an office environment. That's pretty straightforward.
Interesting. Let me let callers know that the phone lines are open, 410-319-8888. If you've just joined this conversation, this is Wealthy Lifestyle Radio. I'm Deborah Owens, and we're talking big business, and we're talking how you can grow your business into a big business by getting into the government market. My conversation this evening is with Gloria Larkin. She is the author of The Basic Guide to Government Contracting, How to Build a Successful Business Selling Your Services and Products to the U.S. federal government. You can also send us a message on Facebook at A Purse of Your Own, and we're also you can also tweet us at Wealthy Radio or A Purse of Your Own. And we'd love to hear from you this evening. Well, that's interesting. I guess my point was, you have this acquisition, this simplified acquisition process, but how do you actually, who do you sell to? Who is that contact? Who is that person who has that authority? How do you get to them?
Now, that is the big question.
The million-dollar question.
Right, that is. How do you find those decision makers? Well, believe it or not, the government, through this whole transparency process, has made it not quite so difficult to find, first of all, who the credit card holders are in particular agencies. Here in the Baltimore area, we have the Social Security Administration is right in our own backyard.
That's right.
Just a few miles away. And you could go to the Social Security Administration website, which is a pretty easy website, ssa.gov, and look for, they have a search field in it where you could type in small business, and links will come up to tell you where the small business offices are, and through those links you can find out who the credit card purchasers are, and then they have something even cooler that you can never find in the private sector, and it's a forecast of contracting opportunities.
Good grief, that easy?
It sounds easy, but if you don't know what
yeah, exactly. I mean, but you don't know what you don't know. Well, we're going to go to the phone lines because these lines are lighting up now. Again, if you want to join this conversation, 410-319-8888. We're talking about you breaking into that government market and figuring out how you can grow that business through government. Let's go to our next caller, Donna in Gambriels. Hi, Donna. You're on the air. Question or comment for our guest this evening?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, my name is Donna, and I own a glass company, and currently we're only doing work in the private sector. And there's a new program with the Small Business Administration to get certified as a women-owned small business. And I was just wondering how long does it typically take for the certification process?
That's a great question.
Why, thank you, Donna. The question is really appropriate right now, too, because this is a new program in the federal government, and it's essentially a self-certification, meaning that you will verify that you are indeed owner of the business, that you own and control 51% or more of the business. But then what the SBA, Small Business Administration, asks you to do is upload all of your corporate documents to a particular SBA website so that they can verify, in fact, that you do own the business, that you control it, that you sign the checks, that you control the employees and make all of the decisions. And from a level of difficulty, I would put this at about a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10, meaning it's not that bad.
Okay. So I guess what you're and I think the other part of that question was typically how long would that take?
It would take you, I would imagine, I've seen folks who the longest time is gathering the information. So if you are organized and you have your paperwork all together, it will probably take you a week in order to gather it all, and then you simply upload it to the website, and then the SBA will take about 30 days in order to approve it.
Ah, that's great information. I hope that answered your question, Donna. Again, the phone lines are open. We've got a few more minutes, about 2 minutes with Gloria Larkin. She's the author of The Basic Guide to Government Contracting. And Gloria, we're about to go off the air. I'd love for you to leave closing comments, but also, how do people get in contact with you, and what does your business do?
Wow, thanks for asking. What we do is help companies win federal contracts. Position yourself, find the right contracts to bid on, and then when we're working on those large contracts, the multi-million-dollar contracts that get involved in the RFPs, we help companies go through that whole process. And we're very easy to find. You can get us directly through our website at www.targetgov.com, or call us right here in the Baltimore area. Our phone number is 410-772-3914.
Excellent. And is there an email address that you can give out as well, Gloria?
Oh, absolutely. A very easy one. Info at targetgov.com. And we'd love you to get a copy of the book, too.
That's right. And you can go right to the website. Again, my conversation this evening was with Gloria Larkin. She's the author of The Basic Guide to Government Contracting, How to Build a Successful Business Selling Your Services to the Government. Gloria, it's been a great pleasure having you on Wealthy Radio. And now we're going to get wealthier by getting those government contractors after hearing your conversation this evening.
That's right. This is the one market where you could have a goal last year and add a zero to it for this year and actually reach it.
I love it. Thank you so much. Well, Gloria, thanks for joining us on Wealthy Lifestyle Radio.